What's up, everybody? Just starting installment one of ACL Diaries. Many of you know that I just underwent ACL surgery, had an ACL reconstruction, as well as minor meniscus repair. And so I just kind of wanted to, just put out some information, what's going on. There may be somebody going through something similar. I know leading up to this surgery, I did a lot of research on YouTube, just trying to find out as much information as I could. And there's a lot of stuff out there, so I thought I could add my experience to the mix. And if anybody can gain anything from it, that'd be great. And also I know that some family and friends and things like that are kind of curious as to how my journey's going. And so this might help keep everybody updated. So I plan on doing a few of these. I know it's a long journey. This is going to be 6 to 8 to 9 months long, and I'm sure the videos will taper off towards the end because a lot of the progress is going to happen in the first couple months. But yeah, I just kind of want to share some of my journey. So many of you probably don't know that it was about 4 months ago when I went down with a torn ACL, torn meniscus. I was playing basketball with some high school guys. You'll have to ask those guys who was winning. But I was definitely holding my own until the old man side of me went down. I crashed hard, man. I knew it was bad, but I didn't hear that pop that everybody describes the ACL as, always hearing a pop. And so I wasn't convinced that I actually tore my ACL after, it was like level 10 pain for about 15 minutes. And then it tapered off and it was a little bit swollen, never really bruised. And so I wasn't convinced ACL because I didn't hear the distinct pop, and I was able to walk. It didn't feel terribly unstable. And so I let it rest a few weeks, and after about 3 or 4 weeks, all the swelling went down, and I got back on the court, and it slipped again, and I went down just as hard as before. Pain was just as bad, and I was pretty convinced by that point that something had to have been torn. And so I set up an appointment a few weeks later with Ortho Arkansas, saw Dr. Gordon, and come to find out I did have a total ACL tear. However, it was not torn in the middle of my ACL. It was actually torn, it was ripped off the femur. So it wasn't an actual, that's why I wouldn't have heard a pop, because it actually just disconnected from the femur. So still same surgery though. You got to do a total reconstruction. And so waited a few weeks to have the surgery, wanted to wait till 2021, and had the surgery yesterday. So I'm on day 2 right now. The surgery itself, I didn't do any videoing or anything like that, but man, it was, everybody kept telling me that had been experienced through surgeries that you don't worry about the surgery. The surgery's not the part you worry about. And looking back, I know that's exactly true. It's so funny because I went into the OR and I was kind of expecting to at least see something, like maybe even just see the doctors or whatever. But the only experience I had in the OR was a nurse came in. She was super nice. I don't remember her name, but she put a mask on my face and said, "Can you give me 4 big breaths?" And I'm pretty sure I remember giving her 1, and next thing I knew, I woke up in the recovery, and man, it was easy peasy. My leg had a nerve block, which is just now kind of starting to wean off, and so pain has been relatively mild. I had PT this morning. They prescribed PT on day 1 because I did not have to have any meniscus stitches. They cleaned the meniscus, so no stitches. So I had PT on day 1 this morning, 9 a.m. with Rachel up at East End Carson Physical Therapy, and super pleased. Went well. Didn't do a whole lot today, but brought home some exercises. And there was one point where probably the best feeling up until this point was getting to get the brace off, the ACE bandage off, and just move my knee. I was allowed to go up to 90 degrees and I was able to do that for sets of 10. And then I couldn't do ankle pumps because at that point this morning my leg was still numb from the nerve block, and so I got hooked up on one of the electro machines, and it did the ankle pumps for me. So when I left physical therapy, man, I felt great. Everything was loose and moving around. Pain was manageable. It's just been pretty good. So came home. Been trying my best to rest. I know that's one of the biggest. Stay hydrated and rest. Ice and elevation. Speaking of ice, if they ever ask you if you want an ice therapy machine, the answer is emphatically yes. I slept with the ice therapy machine on last night. It's just simply if you don't know what it is, it's like a little ice chest that you fill up with ice and water, and then there's a tube that runs up from the ice chest up to a brace that goes around your knee, and that brace around your knee has got channels of water that runs through it, so it just pumps ice from the ice therapy machine up through your brace and keeps you cold all night long. But it's not like that stinging, like burning cold from an actual ice pack. The brace kind of thermalizes a little bit, and I mean, it's just, it's awesome. So I left it on all night, got it on right now, and just trying to stay iced and elevated as much as possible. Swelling on my leg was very minimal. I think Dr. Gordon must be a magician, because the patellar tendon that he grafted, the incision can't be but like 2 inches long, and so swelling is minimal, stitching is minimal, no staples. So man, I'm real pleased and excited about the journey. Came home and did some prescribed physical therapy. I'm starting to get more feeling in my leg, which is good because I can do the therapy a little bit better, but it's also pain is coming along with that a little bit. I'm starting to feel a little bit more pain set in. So I'm eagerly nervous about day 2, day 3. I guess today is kind of day 2. So day 3, day 4, I know surely more pain's coming, and so I'm trying not to get too excited. But right now, very manageable, and man, I'm just excited about just the journey ahead. Ready to get back on the basketball court. It's been about 4 months since I've really been able to play, been able to run, and so just looking forward to it. I know that there's going to be ups and downs, and I know it's going to be a long journey, but I'm just trying to remind myself that every day forward is a day closer to being where I want to be. I just want to try to do a little bit better tomorrow than I did today, and just try to improve a little bit each day. And so, just trying to set an example. I'm coaching a basketball team and trying to tell them to do the same thing, improve a little bit each day. Telling my kids the same thing, improve a little bit each day. And so just trying to take that same mentality into my own journey. This is my first real experience with a major surgery, and so it's all kind of new to me. I want to give a shout out to all my friends, family, church family. Man, we've just been blown away by the support that everyone has given us, and we definitely feel it. We don't feel alone. We feel very loved, and just incredibly thankful for that. So thank you from the bottom of our heart, and I'm looking forward to getting back on my feet, getting back behind the wheel, and getting back to life a little bit more like normal, and just taking each day at a time. And simultaneously, I've made a goal that I want to take this journey physically and pair it up spiritually. And so I want to use these times of therapy and repetitive stretching and exercise and things like that to really dwell on the scripture and to dwell on the blessings that God has given me and my family. And so just trying to kind of pair those together and really improve physically, but also improve mentally and spiritually as well. So anyway, glad you guys found the video. Over the next few weeks and months, I'll be tracking some progress, different exercises that I'm allowed to do, just some insights to the journey as a whole. And so if you have any questions or anything, shout out, just let me know. And if not, thanks for joining in. Thanks for reaching out if you have. Thanks for just loving our family if you have. And I'm looking forward to being on my feet and moving. And in the meantime, just day by day. So hope you have a great day and be blessed.